Today's rollout is the 4142. Let's see how it stacks up against the 7. Stick around. There's an endless debate in the craps community. Can dice setting actually create a player advantage? Between the grip, the load, the launch, and the landing, the sources of variation seem endless. But if we can minimize those variables with consistent technique, can we actually find an edge? How many rolls can a specific set survive before the dreaded 7 ends the run? We're putting the physics to the test and collecting the raw data. Is it skill or just plain luck? Let's find out on this episode of What Are the Odds? Good day to you today. I hope you're doing absolutely fantastic. Thank you for joining me here on the 4142 dice rollout. If you're new here, we're going to set this dice configuration 4-1 on the left, 4-2 on the right. We will throw this continuously until the 7 emerges 10 times. Along the way, we'll track each one of our dice rolls. Our first roll here is a 6. So we're going to go ahead and log that into our dice tracker. And at the end of this video, after the 10 sevens come out, we will break down the data. We'll speed things up and see you on the other side. Okay, the 4142 dice set appears to favor a light side strategy. We threw an additional 18 rolls beyond what was expected for a grand total of 28 rolls. Our longest continuous roll streak was 27 in between sevens. So let's go look at the numbers on an individual roll basis. And you can see here we had two numbers favorable to the 7 north of the waterline. Those were the 6 and the 8. Both of those rolling 50% more times than the 7 came out. And statistically speaking, our three most favorable numbers here were the 6, 8, and the 11. The 4 also did manage to perform favorable to the standard. And on the flip side, our worst performing number here was the 3. It had a standard deviation of 2.36. And the next worst performing number was actually the 7. It had a standard deviation of 2.12. So let's merge our rolls into sister pairs and let's check them out. And it should come as no surprise that our strongest sister set here was the 6 and the 8. Again, both of those outperformed the 7. Our 4 and 10 showed up 13 times, which is exactly what we expected. Our 2 and 12 nearly met expectations. The 3 and 11 were less than 2 rolls short, but our worst performer as a sister pair is the 5 and 9, coming up 3.3 rolls short of expectations. So let's break down the hard ways and horns. And for you hard way players out there, this is definitely a nice dice set. We expected just less than 9 hard ways to emerge out of those 78 rolls, and we actually produced 12. While the 4, 8, and 10 exceeded expectations, the 6 was only 1 roll short of meeting expectations. Great performance overall. And onto our horns, we didn't quite meet expectations, falling 2 rolls short. However, that was only because the 3 in and of itself fell 3.3 rolls short of expectations. The 2, 11, and 12 performed very nicely. And of those 11 horns rolled, only 2 of those would have yielded a Sia horn, beta horn hit. Unfortunately, we wouldn't have been able to parlay either of those into individual horn roll hit, meaning we had no back-to-back-to-back horn rolls. All right, let's sum it all up here. Given this data collection session, the 4142 dice set would lean into a light side strategy. It produced 78 rolls versus the 60 we expected. And so remember, there are 6 ways to make a 7. And there are a total of 36 combinations of dice. So 6 over 36 is 1 out of 6, meaning we expect a 7 to emerge in every 6 rolls. If that 7 came on roll number 6 in each of those sets of 6 rolls, and we rolled 10 sets of 6 rolls, 10 times 6 is our 60. The numbers individually are 6 and 8 outperform the 7. Again, 50% more rolls, rolling 15 times versus the 10 that the 7 came out. And statistically, the 6, 8, and 11 were the best numbers versus the standard. Our 3 was statistically the worst number, and the 7 was just behind the 3. And this does appear to be a really good dice set if you're into hard ways. Very strong performance across the board. 12 hard ways rolled versus an expected 8.7, with the hard 4, 8, and 10 outperforming expectations. The 6 only fell short by a roll. Our horns collectively look like they let us down. However, that was only because the 3 came up 3.3 rolls short of expectations. Collectively, they only underperformed expectations by 2 rolls. And we only did produce 2 Sia horn, beta horn hits and never were able to parlay from a CE 12 horn hit. And that's going to do it for this episode of the 4142 dice set. Thank you so much for taking time out of your schedule to join me today. This was a very fun one. As always, I hope you have an outstanding rest of your day, and I look forward to you joining me on the next episode of What Are the Odds?